Right, good afternoon gentlemen. Today we will go on with the rule on lookout. So somebody do the reading please first.
Rule 5 Lookout. Every vessel shall at all times maintain a proper lookout by sight and hearing, as well as by all available means appropriate in the prevailing circumstances and conditions, so as to make a full appraisal of the situation and of the risk of collision.
Now in this rule he says every vessel shall, one is at all times. What else? Proper lookout by sight and hearing. All available means. Right? After that what? So that she can make full appraisal. Full appraisal of situation and risk of collision. Right? This is what the rule says. Now let us look at it one by one. What do you mean at all times? Day, night, 24 hours when you are sailing very right. What about when you are at anchor? That time also. Yes? Right. So whether you are under command, not under command, whether you are at anchor, whatever it may be, all the time you have to keep a proper lookout. Right? By sight and hearing. Sight obviously means visual lookout, and hearing obviously is, at this stage he is talking about your ears, right? So keep your eyes and ears wide open to keep a proper lookout. Simple. Yes? What else? All? Now what are the other available means that we have?
Radar.
Let us say all available means radar, AIS, what else? EGDIS. Okay. What else? Binoculars. Okay. Anything else? VHF. What else? Okay, so let us take these. If anything else comes to mind, we can always add. Firstly, all available means radar. Obviously, this is radar and ARPA. Not writing ARPA separately. Does radar and ARPA help you to keep a proper lookout? How?
By detecting the object which is far away from this.
By detecting objects which are far away, not necessarily within sight. Right? Purpose of lookout is to make full appraisal. That means you must know what is happening, what is the ship doing. ARPA comes in handy so that you can track the targets, right? Acquire them on ARPA, find out their CPA, TCPA. Otherwise manual plotting. If you don't have ARPA, then manual plotting. So radar, ARPA. AIS, I'll come to that later. Binoculars, yes, you need to, whenever targets are far off, you can use binoculars. Right? And AIS. Now, what does AIS do?
So it gives information about the other ship.
Basically, AIS gives you information of the other ship. What all information it gives you?
The name.
Name, identification, course, speed, CPA, TCPA, right? Now, on what basis is the CPA, TCPA worked out in AIS? In ARPA, we are very clear that it's radar targets, radar plotting, which means the CPA, TCPA is worked out on the relative approach as seen by your radar Right? You are done radar plotting course.
Yes.
Yes.
ROC ARPA is done. So you are very much aware of that. On the plotting, we just, let's say if this is the center of the screen, first point O, second point A, you just join this and this becomes your CPA, TCPA, you can work out. ARPA uses exactly this, right, to find out CPA, TCPA. What about AIS? Does AIS also use the same technique to give you CPA, TCPA? No. What does it use? Speed over ground. No, it doesn't.
GPS.
No. AIS basically uses positions as given to you by the other ship. First position, second position, join that. Right? So basically he is giving you course and speed made good, which means if we analyze this triangle a little further, going back to ARPA, on the ARPA if I want to find out what is the true course and speed of the target, so what do? We introduce a vector called WO, right? Correct? OA was the relative approach, WO is own vessel's course and speed, and on that basis you work out WA. So this is relative, this is own vessel, and this is the target. But remember, first we worked out OA, the relative approach. We introduced our own course and speed and hence got course and speed of the target. This is not what happens in AIS. AIS goes by actual positions of the target which are given by the other target via his GPS or whatever it may be. So when he is giving you actual position, you are getting WA first. You are then introducing WO and getting the relative approach OA. Clear what is happening in AIS? I will repeat that. Based on positions given, you first get WA, introduce WO, and as a result you get OA. Which means if the target is not giving you correct AIS information, that means the target is not giving you the WA correctly. Even if your WO is correct, which is your own course and speed, OA will be in error. Right? So straight away question is, which CPA, TCPA is more reliable? ARPA or AIS? ARPA. Straight away. There is a chance that the other vessel may not be giving, I am not saying it's always the case, but just in case it is not giving you, or let me put it like this, if you are getting CPA, TCPA on the ARPA different from that on the AIS, then which one should you rely on? On ARPA, not on AIS obviously, right? So is that part clear? But then how do you use AIS as a means of lookout? Now AIS gives you
An
instantaneous change of course, because AIS data can be updated as fast as 2 seconds depending on speed etc, but can be updated as fast as 2 seconds, right? So let's say you don't know that the true course, because if he can give you position in error, he could also give you heading in error. But if his heading is, let's say 050 and slowly changing, let's say over 30 seconds from 050 he has gone to 060, then you know for sure he has altered by 10 degrees to starboard, right? That information is also very important, more so in collision situations, more so when you are stand-on vessel. Then the question comes in, is the other vessel taking action in time, not taking action in time? All that would come into picture. So this is how AIS can help you, and this is how AIS can be used for keeping a lookout. Though we say that if the position information is in error, the course information or the speed information could also be in error. But then the error will be same on both, initial and the final. So even if you don't want to rely on the position or the speed or course information directly, the change of course or change of speed is indicative enough. Right? So is that part clear? Now the other thing is, talking of VHF, use of VHF. How is VHF helping you in keeping a lookout? More so considering that AIS is going to give you identification of the other vessel. AIS
may or may not be detected on the
may or may not be detected. Okay, AIS could be switched off. That means you can't use it. Right? That's not what I'm looking at. What I'm looking at is AIS is giving you the identification of the vessel. Does that help you in keeping a lookout? Coupled with VHF. For VTS reporting, very right. Let's say you got a ship about 2 miles or something ahead of you, and by AIS you know his identification, so you know his name or you know his call sign, both in fact name and call sign. And suppose he is calling VTS and telling him, look, my ETA to pilot ground is so much and I will be picking up pilot or whatever. That conversation can be monitored on the VHF. You could identify that vessel by AIS that he is 2 miles ahead of me. He is in a process of picking up pilot after 15 minutes or 20 minutes, which means I can see on the chart he will be altering course to port or to starboard, whatever it may be. And if he is going to pick up pilot at a different speed than what he is moving right now, he will be reducing speed. So all this information basically you can gather by VHF and related to the particular identified ship on AIS. Right? So does this constitute full appraisal of the situation? Right? So this is how we make full appraisal of the situation. So we remember one thing, any single equipment is not used independently. Right? You can't say I have got AIS, so I will not rely on ARPA. We just discussed that ARPA is more. Or if I have got ARPA, I should not rely on AIS because AIS is giving you a different information. VHF similarly, you may not use VHF for the purpose of direct collision avoidance, but when it comes to lookout, you can use VHF in the way I explained to you just now to get more information or make full appraisal of the situation. Is it clear so far?
Yes.
Any questions? Any doubts? Yeah. Full appraisal of situation and of risk of collision. Of course, there is another separate rule on risk of collision. We will go on to that. But my emphasis here is that the rule itself says keep lookout by all available means, radar, ARPA, whatever. Purpose is to make full appraisal of situation and of risk of collision. Making full appraisal of situation is more important than determining risk of collision. And the rule itself, otherwise the rule should have been the other way around, risk of collision and full appraisal of the situation. It is not so. Full appraisal of situation and of risk of collision. So making full appraisal of situation is much more important. In fact, the term making full appraisal of the situation per se should include risk of collision. But he is being more specific, so he specified separately the risk of collision. Right? Now remember one thing, lookout is what we have discussed here, but basically is lookout just one man standing on the bridge and keeping a lookout, or is it something more than that? It is much more than that, as you saw. Right? For example, getting back to radar. Are you aware that on the radar you can set something called as guard zone?
Yes, sir.
Any target entering guard zone gives you alarm?
Yes, sir.
Is that a form of lookout? It is very much a form of lookout. Right? So lookout basically, remember, is a process. It is not a person standing on the bridge wing or standing in the wheelers or standing on a Munkyar and keeping a lookout with his eyes like this. No. Or keeping his ears tuned, eyes and ears. Lookout is a process which has to be done in totality. All this put together will be lookout. If you lookout, also remember, making full appraisal of the situation includes monitoring the happenings on your ship. That means, are you steering the correct course? Is your autopilot working? Is your radar set at the correct range for lookout purpose? Do you need to change the range scale? What about the engine speed? What about the engine RPM? All this forms part of lookout. So the word lookout encompasses everything that is happening on the bridge. That's why it says make full appraisal of the situation. So full appraisal of situation including happenings on your own ship, not just outside. Getting the point? Now in STCW somewhere it says that a single person can keep lookout. Right? In daytime, light traffic, etc., certain conditions are there. So one person can keep a lookout. You don't need an additional lookout. Additional lookout you can call if traffic density goes up or if it's night time or whatever. Certain conditions are given where you can have single watchkeeper keeping a lookout on the bridge. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Now my question to you is, if this lookout person is single on the bridge, he has met all the criteria given in STCW and he is alone on the bridge. Now there is a separate chart room and he is going into the chart room to plot a position from the GPS or to check EGDIS or whatever, or to check echo sounder, some navigation equipment he wants to check. So he goes into the chart room. At that time there is nobody on the wheelhouse. In the wheelhouse there is nobody at that point of time. Is he meeting the requirements of keeping a lookout or not?
Yes. Yes.
How?
He is going for a navigation purpose.
Okay, so
He is going to plot his position, which is a part of navigation duty.
okay.
So he is meeting the.
Yeah, but there is nobody outside in the wheelhouse.
He must have applied this situation.
Very right. Both of you are right. Firstly, what he is doing basically, whether it is position plotting or checking depths or whatever, he is making full appraisal of the situation. So within the term lookout. Next, before he goes into the chart room for this purpose, he would have had a good lookout, a good visual look around the ship, and let us say he has estimated for the next 3 minutes there is no real danger coming up and I can go into the chart room, spend at least 3 minutes there and come back. And then when he goes to the chart room, he may not require 3 minutes, he may require only 2 minutes. And he is back. Right? So he has checked out that during this period where I am there is no issue. So it is very much meeting the definition of the word lookout. Right? It is within the rule. Because otherwise, if you want to say that no, it is a person standing and keeping a lookout, then when he blinks, the lookout is breached. Right? So then you will say, okay, keep 2 people. What if both blink at the same time? Keep 3, keep 4. What if 10 people are there and all blink at the same time? Possible? Right? So it is lookout is basically a process. Everything put together amounts to lookout, not just one person standing and keeping a lookout. Yes? Have you also heard this term called situational awareness?
Yes.
I'll just write essay for that. Situational awareness. If you think of this term situational awareness, it is nothing but make full appraisal of the situation, of the targets around you, of what is happening on your ship, what are the other ships doing, how many ships are around you, how far is land, how far is shallow water, how much room you have got, what are your maneuvering characteristics. Everything is making full appraisal of the situation, which is a part of lookout. Right? So today's day they use the word loss of situational awareness. It would be similar as saying not keeping a proper lookout or an improper lookout. Right? Yeah. Any questions on this? Anything? Any doubts? Clear?
Yes.
Okay, gentlemen. Thank you.